Come check out Larry Records. We started in 2018 to bring to the world the finest, hottest garbage screamo there is. We've put out old bands like Spirit of Versailles, Fear Before the March of Flames, and yes, even Heavy, Heavy Low. And we got some new band on the label, like Versus Self, Widow Dusk, Peak, and even Catalyst. So come check us out, alright guys? We got a Bandcamp, we got an Instagram, we fucking got it all. Check out Larry Records. Screamo lives, baby.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Remade, the podcast that I hope is about growth as much as it is about music. I'm Edie Quinn, and we have a great show for you. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you that we have a Patreon page over at patreon.com/humanmachine, where you can sign up to get music sneak peeks, zines, comics, and much more. And now, I'd like to play something for you. You're hearing Eliza by Riotnine, featuring my pal Cleo Jackowick on guitar and vocals. The song comes off their EP, Death Before Detransition, which you can find on their Bandcamp page now.
I remember my dad had this work truck when I was growing up. It was like a red Ford, and it was for like the company he worked for. And he made this like playlist or mixtape or whatever of like all like his like 90s rock songs that he liked that were like age appropriate for a very young child, because my parents were pretty like they're a little bit more conservative, so they wanted to like not have a bunch of songs with swears and whatever. So my dad made me this like playlist. We would listen to it in the work truck, and I remember distinctly a bunch of the songs from Weezer's Blue album, and then there was this CD called Before You Were Punk it was like a compilation of like 90s pop punk bands covering like 80s new wave stuff. And the one that I distinctly remember is Blink-182 covering Dancing With Myself by, I believe, Billy Idol. Mm-hmm. So that's like some of the first music I can like have a memory of listening to. But I don't know. I used to, when I was a very young child, I really liked like Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Because it was, rock and roll Christmas music. Uh-huh. So, I mean, that's the earliest memories I have of like listening to music. I can't put a finger on a single song. I don't think like it was either that playlist my dad made me, or probably just like Weezer's Blue album, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That I don't know if I've ever heard that compilation, but I know exactly which one you're talking about. And it's funny because like that was a thing for a minute, was like pop punk bands doing 80s covers. Mm-hmm. Like it really was a thing for a minute. And I don't know, like I think I sort of blame Lagwagon for that, because Lagwagon really, they would have a cover song on every one of their albums, like at least at first, and not all of them were 80s or whatever, but it really, to me, that's what really kicked all that off. And I don't know, but yeah, that's wild. Sometimes I can sort of like, depending on the song or whatever, sometimes I can sort of say, oh, I can see how this like influence like still holds up to this day. But in that case, I'm just saying, no, I don't. I'm saying, yeah, I mean, like I don't hear that in any of your guitar work. Is all I'm trying to say. Which is,
Yeah.
you know,
Go ahead.
depending on the person, which is either a good or a bad thing. But yeah, so it wasn't a case with you really where like you were not exposed to like alternative or like punk or whatever until later. It was kind of just like those kinds of sounds were like some of the first that you can remember hearing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's favorite band of all time is NoFX, which is kind of funny to me at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Because I can't get behind most like skate punk stuff. Specifically not NoFX. I think that really not a fan of them.
No.
But I mean that definitely led to me like learning at least about what punk rock was. And you can't listen to good music without first like hearing some music that's not as good and then being like, oh, this looks way better,
Yeah, it's I'm kind of realizing that like your dad and I are probably not too far off in age from one another. And I was just gonna say that like, yeah, when I was young, and like the town that I lived in, the only like the record store was cool. Like if you could tell him what you wanted, like he could probably find it, but it kind of had to be like Discord or SST or like Epitaph Records, it kind of had to still fall in this purview of like he couldn't just like get you the 7-inch that the band released out of their garage, and so for a minute like those kinds of bands were definitely like they were seminal in like my musical like trajectory, but like yeah, I don't know, like NoFX is one of those bands where it's just like I know people like from my hometown and stuff, and like I mean a lot of people know what that's like, where like you don't live there anymore, but people still do. Like we know what that means, where it's just like they're kind of stuck in that like whatever mindset they were in then. And so every once in a while, like just some random person like that I knew a very long time ago goes, the new NoFX album is great, and I expect like there to be because Mike has come out as I'm not sure exactly what Mike has come out as, but like I expect there to be some kind of like step up in like the lyrical content or whatever. It's just like never happened. It's just like you are writing for 13-year-olds still. Like I do not know what's going on.
It's like I always describe like Bad Religion as the AC/DC of punk rock, in that they like found a sound in their second album and then stuck with it for like 40 years, doing 13 albums that all sound exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like sure, AC/DC sounds cool to any young kid, and Bad Religion sounds cool to any young kid, but like they just kept cranking out albums that sounded exactly the same. I feel like NoFX is kind of similar in that too. It's just like super, super fast skate punk shit that is whiny and like vaguely political, but just vague enough where like my conservative dad can think it's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's like, it's political without like taking a stand. It's just like, aren't the people in charge bad? And you're like, yes, but tell us why, like elaborate on that. And they're like, nah, cause I don't want to poop where I eat, cause it's like literally like it's boomer punk, like, but yeah, it's wild. Like people are always like talking about Bad Religion writing some very different albums, and I see people saying that some of them are polarizing, and I'm always like, I want a Bad Religion album that is like polarizing, and I like either I like don't check out the right ones, or they just kind of all they're kind of all pretty similar. You know, it's like sometimes a younger person is on drums than other ones, and you can kind of tell. You're like, oh, they've got a 22-year-old in the band. All right. But yeah, I don't know. But it's like no effects. Like to me, it's like when they hit a certain thing, then like I listen to a clip of a song or something, and I'm just like, I don't even know that these are real guitars anymore. They sound so bad. They sound just like Walmart brand Axe effects. You know what I mean? Like I don't like. I'm just like, there's nothing punk about this to me. Like it just feels sterile and safe, and I don't know. But you know, that's I mean, that's. I'm talking about probably like a multimillionaire. So like what like I don't know. The best thing that could probably happen to me is he would hear me talking shit and he would like hate me for it, But like, and I'm not even really talking shit. Like I could, I guess, why not? But yeah, that's so like obviously you kind of had to come to a point where you were like almost like not saying you were even like looking for this or whatever, but whenever you found something that was like had more of an edge or spoke to you personally, like what was that like? How did you come into the kind of stuff that you really did like call your own?
I feel like my discovery of like when I was in like high school, my discovery of like 90s emo really shaped that a lot. Like my dad, he knew like the bands like Braid and Sunny Day and shit. So like there was some familiarity there, but like I got really, really into like American football as like a freshman in high school. And like as stupid and surface level as this sounds, like a 14-year-old kid who spent a lot of years like shoving down emotions and being depressed and sad and like, thinking that emotions are stupid and for babies, like being like, oh, wow, you can make music that's like in touch with your emotions. Like that was a big deal to me when I was, like 14, because like the music I'd listened to previously was like emotional and almost like a destructive way. Like I loved Nirvana. And so like smashing guitars and like being unhealthy and like feeling like shit was so cool to me. And so like having like a band like American football that's like, yeah, we just talk about our feelings, like was like honestly radical to me at the time. And so like
it's the antithesis of the other thing.
Yes, exactly. And so like that obviously lent itself, like that plus my love for like aggressive music obviously lent itself to screamo, and like it took me a long time to get there, to get to like listening to and making scrams. Like I didn't really discover the genre until very recently. Like I knew about like Orchid and Page 99, but I didn't really like get it, and I didn't know there was a whole genre of it. I just thought it was like, oh yeah, this is what preceded emo. Like that's what I thought screamo was just the shit that preceded emo. And I didn't realize there was like a community. I didn't realize there was new bands making it. I didn't realize like a whole like genre was based on what was happening in Richmond, Virginia in the late 90s. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know.
And Lafayette, Indiana.
Right. Yes, of course. How could I forget the Legends Homo Regalia?
Oh, well, I mean, I was talking about like my actual old band and like in bands like Usurp Synapse and stuff, but like.
Oh yeah, I forgot they're a Midwest band too.
Yeah, they started in Lafayette, Indiana.
Wow.
In the house that I used to live in. Like I met them while they started that band. Like I literally was there while they were like packing up their first 7-inch. I met them, and it was like a little bit later. They're like, "We're moving to Indianapolis. Do you want to sublease this place?" And I lived there for like 20 years.
Wow! Holy shit!
Yeah, but yeah, I was in a band back then also that like. This was a much more screamo story, which was that the band recorded one 7-inch. It was a band where a lot of the members had slept with each other uh, and
Yeah.
and there's I don't really think there's like hard feelings as far as any of that goes. This doesn't have anything to do with that, but that is a very '90s thing, I think. But and then like one particular person, which wasn't me this time because I am a bit of a diva, but one particular person was like quite a diva and made somebody else mad. The band broke up before the 70s even came out. So much more 90s story, like, and that's why that, and probably that we weren't that good, that nobody knows that band. Like, but yeah, there was lots of sick bands in Indiana back then, you know, like Marakate and different bands. But yeah, I was just joking about the Lafayette part, but they're, you know, but like that is a pretty significant band to come out of Lafayette, and I think that like definitely Richmond and that area gets the well-deserved like praise as like this screamo mecca, but you know, what Midwest holds it down too. That's all I was trying to say.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Midwest screamo is different. Like I don't know. I've noticed recently like certain differences between West Coast, East Coast, and Midwest screamo bands, and I think like those differences like can kind of reflect a slight difference in culture, but it also is just like how music has been. I don't know. Like let's take the difference between like a band like Massanera and a band like Roman Candle. Like both new school bands that are making a name for themselves in their respective areas and have a ton of respect and are making really fucking cool music. Like both of them have such different attitudes. Like Massanera is a band that wrote an album that sounds like, when you listen to it, it sounds like a symphony. Like it flows, it's conceptual. There's like an EDM track on it. It's super weird, super creative, and also just like really understated too. Like you don't hear the riffs as well as you hear them live. Like I've seen Massanera live twice, and like the riffs shine better live because they're not like trying to like their songwriting shines better on the record. Yes, because like they're not like trying to flaunt their guitar skills, right? Mm-hmm. And I think like Roman Candle is one of those bands that like they're, you know, screamo adjacent, but they have this like hardcore attitude of like, yeah, we're the shit. We love this. Like Piper has posted like money spreads and like she's like, this is my new fucking car I just bought with screamo money. Like it's almost like a very like this like West Coast kind of not like capitalist, but like
a professionalism or
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And both of those bands, like I said, are highly respected and making really fucking cool music. And then you have like, let's take a Midwest band like Trail Body, and they're just like, yeah, we're fucking loud and really nice people. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Same to y'all, really loud and really nice people. Like it's, I don't know. I think it's cool that the slight differences between East Coast, West Coast, and like Midwest bands.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's like I don't. I hope nobody takes any of these analogies the wrong way, but it's like I feel like West Coast bands, they're better at marketing, but I don't even think that they necessarily market themselves. I think it's like almost like being from the West Coast is it's like having a brand name on something that people automatically find appeal in or respect in or whatever, you know, like sure. I feel like it's like, oh, this band from California, yeah, they're sick. And when you hear California, it's like, you know, it's like having that brand recognition. This band is from California. Oh yeah, well they must be good. Where it's like, there's a little bit sure. of that too, where it's like, oh, this band is from Richmond, and you're like, oh, they're from Richmond, I'm listening, you know, and I think that New Jersey has a little bit of that, but I think they had like more of that like 10, 15 years ago. like
Sure.
than they do now, and for
You're
no good
talking in
reason.
like the MCR era, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But like because no bands from that area are still just like on fire, you know, hundreds of AU and Masanera and you know like whatever else. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's real interesting. And then the Midwest is just kind of like nobody cares. Like you're from the Midwest, not like it's just like you could say I'm from like this band is from Milwaukee. Like, okay, like this band from Chicago. Okay. This band's from Indianapolis. Okay. It's like Midwest is all just like one thing, you know, it's just like,
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I think that has a lot to do with it. And it's just, there are different, just like sort of, like, I don't know, like people in California and stuff. Like, I think there's something with like, you know, maybe like the weather being nice and you know because when I lived in Florida and like I hate Florida like as a political you know like
Right.
you know what I'm saying, but like I love Florida like as a state, like the nature, the weather and stuff. Like I grew up there and I just love it. And like I always think to myself, some of the worst times I ever had in my life, I was in Florida, but I was like never depressed like I am now. Like, cause it's nice all the time. I couldn't be, I'm like, it's sunny. It's like, I can go out. Like this is beautiful. And I don't know if there's something it's like, you know, people in California, they have like more confidence, you know, and people gravitate towards confidence, whether we acknowledge that or not, you know? And so Midwest people, we're all sort of like, oh, golly gee, thanks, you know? Like, that's so nice of you to say. And, you know, California people are like, yeah, you know, we worked real hard. Thanks a lot, you know? It's like such a different vibe, you know?
And honestly, I think that's so rad because like I was saying about Roman Candle, they almost have like a Southern Californian hardcore attitude about their music. Like,
right, but they're from like Vegas or something, or is it Reno?
I think they're from Vegas. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I mean, it was somewhere around there. But I would have loved to have chatted with them, but I think that that ship has sailed probably. Like I think they don't, you know, they will never know who I am at this point. That ship sailed. Just like I was trying to get someone from Scowl on the podcast, and it was about to happen, and then no. That's not going to happen now. But yeah, that ship sailed. I think it's rad too because I think that like there's any kind of way that you can be about your music and about like the way you, I mean, I've been lots of different ways, and I think that's fun too. Just like sometimes it is just like you just be a little braggadocious and you're just like, fuck it, you know? Me and my friends did something cool, and like you should think it's cool too, you know? Or sometimes
that's totally how I am in my other band. Like I'm in an indie band, but like when I go out on stage, I like wave at the crowd and do the interaction thing, and I'll like reach my hand to the crowd, and they all reach their hands up, and it's like almost like rock star shit. But like I'll never do that in Riotnine, but I'll not, like for like an indie rock band that like has fans and shit, like it's fun, like, and it's good for the fans. That's what the fans expect, and that's what the fans want, and like that's part of I don't know. There's positives to that. It's not that I'm like being like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking rock star. It's just like it's fun to like kind of play this character of someone who, you know, has a cool band that people like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
and I think
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it's like it's genuine in the way that like every human has an ego, right? Like, but it's also like in a way like kind of playing a character of like a rock star.
Right. Well, see here.
I don't know.
Here's the other thing I was thinking is that like, you know, there's a flip side to that as well, which is like, if you as a person are just acting the same way all the time, like you're, excuse me, like you're being a bit of a character right there, because like nobody feels the same way all the time, you know, like you got moods and stuff, you know, so like, yeah, you got your one thing, you feel in some way about that, and you go out and you express that side of yourself, and then you have your other thing, and you express that side of yourself. You know, it's just like, it's just human, baby. You know, it's just like
for real. Like
you're just putting the complexities of life out there in your performance or in your personality or whatever, and you know,
for sure. I think the subject matter of the music changes things too. Like,
oh yeah,
in Riotnine, we're singing about like genocide and capitalism and climate change and like the things that make us all like really upset and disenfranchised with the world and like Western culture, right? And then in Fellow Kinsmen, the indie rock band, it's just kind of like love songs or like stories that we're telling or like, and I don't really do a lot of the songwriting in Fellow Kinsmen. I just kind of like play my bass, you know what I mean? And so it's more like I'm there for the fun of music as opposed, and also the fun of playing my instrument really, really well. Like I practice my bass so that I can play it really, really well. Like it's for the fun of all of those things and not as much like an emotional release of like pent up aggression towards your society that you're forced to participate in, you know, like there's a lot less stakes there in terms of like what we're feeling on stage, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think we don't talk about that enough in like Screamo or, you know, the DIY community. Is just like, I mean, it's just so fun to play an instrument. And like, there's a pure joy that comes with just performing for people. And like, I mean, it's like, I don't know, you know, I don't know how much of this is like my own like headcanon or whatever, but it's like, there's some performers like, you know, like Tom Petty or whatever. Like I can just imagine Tom Petty just like before a concert, just being like, this is the greatest thing that ever could be, is just going out and singing songs for people. Like, and like, you know, that's my headcanon. Like you'll never convince me that Tom Petty did anything but love to play guitar and sing for people. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's why when we go out there and we do our thing, like we do it for 20 minutes and it felt like 30 seconds, you know, because it's like, there's so much joy in it. And there's like, even when we're, you know, unveiling like our frustrations and our you know, our trauma in some instances, like it's just the joy of that expression and stuff is so pure. And like, yeah, I mean, like it's just, sometimes it's such a blast to just like lock in on something that someone else did and just play along. And yeah, but you said that was called Fellow
Kinsmen. The front man's name is Nate Kingston. And so he's been playing as Fellow Kinsmen since I think like 2015. And just like kind of accumulating a band over the course of the last couple of years. And like around 2 years ago is when he started like really like having a solid band of people. That's like around the time I joined. And then there's a keyboard player named Erin. She's super sweet. She joined a couple of like gigs before me. We recently got a new drummer. His name's Dwayne. Like just a really cool, down to earth dude. He's like a rapper by trade. So like it's cool to have someone with like everyone in the band has a super different musical backstory, which I think is amazing. Like we walk around and we look like a joke. Like this person and this person and this person walked into a bar. Like that's what we look like.
Yeah.
Because like. That. Dwayne, the drummer, he's a rapper. Erin, the keyboard player, she's like classically trained, but her like like she's a decent part of like the hardcore scene, which is like she and her boyfriend go to like a ton of like local hardcore shows. I'm obviously like in the screamo and emo and DIY side of the scene. Nate is has always been like indie rock, but he's the one that introduced me to Loma Prieta. So like, you know what I mean? He's got some influences that are on the punk rock side of things too. And then we have a slide guitar player who has been in country bands, and he's like the most old school punk you'll ever meet. He's just like a country, like, yeehaw steel guitar playing like stoner punk dude. And like, you know what I mean? Like having people that are from all over the map play some music together is just so cool.
Yeah, for sure. You play bass in that band, and you also play bass in Solvalu. How do you say that?
Solvalu is this new band I joined out of Madison. I'm playing guitar in that one as well.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought you were playing bass in that. I misread something. Okay, I was just curious because like here I was thinking like you were playing bass in two bands, and you know, so I was like, you know, getting back to like when you first started playing, like what instrument was it that you first picked up on? Was it guitar?
I had like a desire to play guitar for a long time, and like my parents finally like they were like, okay, we can have you do guitar lessons when I was, I think, like 4th or 5th grade. So I started guitar first, but in 6th grade I joined the middle school orchestra as a stand-up bass player. And so for a lot of years, upright bass was my forte, and then like I would play like guitar in cover bands, and then I never really took guitar quite as seriously until I joined my first like real band back in 2019. So like I did start playing guitar first, but for a long time like classical bass was what I played the most of.
Yeah. So what was it like at your school? Were you attending a lot of like sort of competitions, or just doing the sort of like performances at locally in your own school, or like how serious was that?
Like it wasn't a very prestigious school or prestigious orchestra. It was just kind of like, we're going to learn these contemporary orchestral songs. And then when I got into high school, it was a lot more like, we're going to play some Bach, and we're going to play some Mozart, and we're going to play some Beethoven. But none of it was ever like competition level good. It wasn't like, I wasn't in like a extracurricular orchestra. It was just like part of my classes.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like crazy serious, you know?
Yeah. You said you didn't take guitar seriously until, so I was like, you know, you never can tell because like my kids have never been like, they've just sort of been in the band, and so you go and you see their thing and it's awesome, but like every once in a while I chat with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I did regional, I did national, I did this, and you're just like, holy shit. Like, you know, you find out somebody's played to like thousands of people like when they're, you know, 14 years old or whatever, and it's like, shit, like now you play 20 in a basement. Sick. You know?
Unfortunately, no, that was not the case. Like I always loved playing guitar, but I wasn't really writing music. I was writing riffs here and there, but I was mostly just like playing like punk rock cover bands and stuff. Like we would play garage shows in high school and whatever, like tell all the popular kids to come to a party and then play punk rock music for them. And then we were cool for like exactly 30 minutes, and then everybody pretended they didn't know us again. Like just that type of, you know, weird teenage shit. Yeah. Is like pretty much the extent of my guitar until 2019, you know?
Yeah, I know that feeling very well. Like my first band, we played this friend of mine's birthday party, and the singer in my friend's band, now my friend was just like a nerd, like nobody cared about, like loser or whatever you want to, you know, whatever category we would have been called at the time, just like us. But like the singer in his band was like this guy who like lifted weights and really, really, really wanted to be Glenn Danzig, and like like lots of people thought he was like really hot and stuff. And so this band was elevated by the fact that they had a hot singer. And it's really funny because like years and years later, somebody was just like, I have a videotape of that show, and they sent it to me, and like that band was so bad. Like they did like Alice in Chains, like Wood, and they did like Mother and stuff, and the band was like my friend could play the guitar parts well, and their drummer was good, but the bass player was terrible, and the vocals were so bad. And it's like you're just pretending to be Danzig. Like how can you be this bad? But yeah, I didn't get on here to talk shit about that stuff. But it's just funny because like we were just like a Nirvana / like Descendants ripoff, but we played the songs pretty well. Like they weren't good songs, but we played them pretty well. And it was one of those things like nobody could care less. And
No.
but the hot guy who like could not sing, and it was just like, I mean, the bass part from Alice in Chains Wood is not very hard, and like it was. I was just like, what is happening here? Like, what? So, yeah, I don't know. I hope they're listening. You sucked. No. That's like the most negative I've ever been on the, like,
it's just my like
sucked.
negative aura. It just brings out the shit talk in everyone.
Well, I've held that in long enough, You had chiseled abs, but what else did you have? No, yeah, so was it just like sort of like American football and that kind of stuff where you were just like this is the kind of thing that I could like write and like I like maybe I
yeah, I did a bunch of that like open tuning bullshit for a while. And I got really into Braid. They were my favorite of those, which is cool because they like have a lot more of a punk edge than a lot of those bands did. And also like the Braid side project, Hey Mercedes, like I loved that record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean like I just wanted to like play some version of emotional punk music, and I joined a band in 2019 that was like kind of emo influenced. Like it was like if you took Taking Back Sunday and then wanted to put like Radiohead's experimental like bleeps and bloops over it. So it was like honestly a pretty cool band that I was in back in the day. I say back in the day.
To
like
show for that or?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit on like YouTube, and there's an album up on Spotify still. The band was called Tacoma Washington Weekday Club, and it was genuinely a pretty cool project. I wasn't like super my speed, considering there was like a lot of like, I want to say ego, but ego is like a really strong word. It has a negative connotation. It was a lot more like these dudes knew that they were good at their shit, and they wanted to have that attitude of like, yeah, we're the shit and we love what we make. So like you could call it egotistical, but I think that's a too negative of a word. But anyway, that really had me taking guitar more seriously and like learning about guitar tone and amps and playing loud shit that had screaming in it, So like that was really the turning point for me of like, okay, an emotional band that's loud and has harsh vocals, like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't just like a metalcore band. It was like, had a lot of emo influence to it,
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like, how long were you in that band? Like, did you like play your first gigs and stuff with that band?
Yeah, I mean, I played my first like original songs. Like I wasn't really a primary songwriter in that band, but my first time playing like original music was in that band. And the band was together until 2021. I think like our heaviest gigging season was doing like a ton of like live streams over the pandemic. We did probably between 5 and 10 live streams over the course of lockdown.
Yeah.
And like, then we did some, like, once, you know, restrictions were lifted and stuff, we did some gigs where we were trying to, like, add, like, visual elements to our show. Like, we had a couple TVs on the stage, like, playing random, like, animations that the drummer had made. Like, it was, like, they wanted to be, like, a really big, like, conceptual, like, emo band, which is, like, funny, a little bit to me, like, because emo is one of those genres where it, like, seems, like, inherently, like, I don't know if loser is the right word, but kind of loser, you know, like,
Yeah,
but,
I
like,
mean,
bringing like a pop star ego into it, like,
right.
was just kind of funny. And then that band broke up in 2021, which opened the door for me to start jamming with Danny, who's now with me in Riotnine, which is cool.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because there's about a year there before Riotnine's first song comes out. So, did you go through sort of some different iterations of, like, what you were going for and stuff before Riotnine, like, sort of became a thing?
Yeah, I mean, like, Danny and I, we had played in, like, cover bands together in high school. Like, I knew him from, like, long ago. We didn't go to school together, but we went to school in, like, neighboring suburban districts. So, like, it was very close. We were very close to each other. And, like, we originally wanted to, like, make, like, electronic music, and we realized we weren't good at making electronic music. This was in, like, 2020/2021, so, like, 100 Gex was the biggest band in the world to us, you know. So we wanted to make, like, electronic shit, and that didn't really work out. And, like, one night I was, like, just, like, really frustrated with, like, our inability to make music on the computer, and I was like, why don't we just, like, fucking make what we're good at making? And Danny was like, what are we good at making? And then we just started, like, jamming with our guitars and wrote some, like, shit that sounded super emo. And I was like, I think this is what we need to do. I think we need to make emo music. Like, I need to return to my roots of, like really, really high-pitched, like, belting cleans, and then, like, maybe do some harsh vocals too. And then over the course of our first, like, year, like, writing and playing music, it became very apparent that screamo was the direction that we needed to go into, you know?
Definitely in the first track that y'all released, No One Wants Pain, like, in that one, like, I definitely hear more of that, like, the American football, or, you know, the clean, like, channel, like, I mean, although y'all still use clean channel a lot, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I hear a lot more of that. And then on, you know, the first, like, full release EP, Death Before Detransition, it's like you can still, you're like, yes, this is the same band, but, like, y'all feel really dialed in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, No One Wants Pain was, like, that was one of the first riffs we had written. And, like, I think what really sets the first, like, iteration of our songwriting versus, like, a current iteration of our songwriting apart is that, like, the first iteration of our songwriting was very, like, oh, we're writing emotional music about our emotions and about our life. Like, one of the first songs we wrote was about, like, growing up. Like, Danny wrote a song about growing up with a split household, And like it was all just like personal and introspective lyrics. And then as like we started to become like more radicalized in our politics, and like we started to see a lot more like violence in the world, we like, and also like inspiration from bands like Snag to like write about that violence. We started writing music that all kind of centered like the trans experience. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
What separates like No One Wants Pain from Death Before Detransition is the radical politics, you know, and the action behind the words. You know, it's. I think that's really what dialed us in, was having a purpose and having a message. You know.
Yeah, for sure. You could have also just said, and then we saw Heroes play, and I would have been like, okay, that's
Yeah,
that's what happened. Because yeah, I really like. I you know, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but I think that y'all's EP is like one of the more important singular pieces of screamo made by trans people. And,
really?
And I think, like,
Wow.
I think that, like, you know, I don't know how out there, like, it has gotten as far as, like, listenership or whatever, you know, but I think that once it passes a certain, like, I don't know how these things happen. Like, I don't know how people find out about music. Like, if I did, like, people would find out about more music, but I'm bad at that, you know?
Right.
I'm not in Scowl or Roman Candle, so, like, you know. But, like, it's just, like, yeah, I personally am, like, you know, there's, like, here's, and then there's y'all. Like, I think that.
Damn.
And the fact that that's your first thing, I think that the title of that release is such a definitive, like, an important statement. And it's like, it's got to feel kind of obvious, right? But, like, that's what's so strong about it. Like, it's just like, you know, and yeah, I feel like it, in the point in time that we are in now, it's like it's got to be one of those things. Like, I'm not the only person that, like, listens to that and is like, feels like it's a rally cry, or feels like it's like a, you know, that feels a lot of like comfort and just like solidarity with that statement that EP makes. And so yeah, I think, you know, like you and I, we've been texting even before we actually met and stuff, and we've been trying to make this conversation happen, and we're finally you know, it's finally happening, and I'm really excited, and I hope that everybody that already loves y'all listens to this, and I hope that people that have never heard y'all go and listen to the EP. Like, that's all I could ever want is to you know, link more people that feel similarly to us with that message. And yeah, like, I'm looking forward to whatever else y'all do, but like, as far as I'm concerned, you can hang it up. You've done it. Great job. I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna. I don't want to jinx it either. But, you know,
it would be funny to just drop that EP and then disappear. I feel like that'd be awesome. I don't want to do that though. Like, I love those two dudes so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And also, like, I didn't get everyone's names at the show, but the bass player, that's
Danny. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I was talking with Danny, and he was talking about, like, I was telling him about, like, this band that his vocals reminded me of and stuff, and and he was talking about how, like, he had just come into that vocal style, and when I was listening back to the recordings, I'm like, yeah, it's not quite where it is now. And so I'm really excited to see what y'all do next, because I want to see, like, I compared the vocals to this band from Biloxi, Mississippi back in, like, 1995 called No Matter. And like,
Okay.
it was just such a unique style, and like watching y'all play live, I was just like, that's that. And
Yeah.
and
What's really cool. Go ahead. Sorry. Finish your thought.
I just like, I can't wait to hear what's next, you know, because I know y'all are obviously going to take it up another notch, but also I'm like, I want to hear those vocals on the, you know, on recording. But yeah, what were you going to say? You
So when we were in the process of recording vocals, like Danny was in a tough headspace because this was before he had started testosterone, and like he was like, listening back to this makes me so fucking dysphoric, and like I don't know how I can possibly feel comfortable releasing this shit, and I was kind of feeling the same way to a less extreme degree, and then I had already been a fan of Sanagi. But then I heard the record from Closer from like the year before, and I sent that to Danny, and I was like, look, if Ryan can fucking do vocals pre-testosterone and then turn around and do a Sanagi record the next year with like an octave lower vocal range, like that's so fucking cool. And like we have the ability to like time capsule this, like, it might be dysphoric, but it will only be dysphoric for a short amount of time. And then you'll be able to look back on it with so much love and knowing like, this is where I was and this is where I am now. And I'm so proud of myself. And this is like how far we can come. And this is like what transition is. It's like this beautiful change of like going from something that's like makes itself smaller on purpose and makes itself quieter on purpose to something that's confident and loud and strong. And like, I don't know, like Ryan's vocals pre and post testosterone were such a huge inspiration for both me and Danny. Like, and having that, like, sure, it was dysphoric, but it's also like very beautiful to be able to capture that change happening, you know?
Yeah, and it has like it creates an opportunity to inspire people like Ryan inspired y'all.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that's, I mean, I'm actually like, it's only been a couple times out of 178 shows, but I'm actually like I'm a little choked up right now, because I love Ryan so much. And I was texting with Ryan earlier. We're doing another thing here pretty soon. And you know, if you had just listened to the chat, or if anyone has just listened to the chat that I had just had with Ryan, Ryan was feeling a lot of the same ways that y'all were feeling.
Yeah.
Between all those releases and stuff, and between playing the songs pre and post and everything else, like playing the songs then versus playing the songs now. And, you know, all I can think is that, you know, there's a lot of, I don't think this is strictly a trans thing, but I think I think that it's there are bigger markers for us, you know, like there's, you know, signs on the road or whatever, but like there's this idea that a lot of people have that like once you hit X, then your life from then on is kind of just gonna be the same, or like it's like, I think when you're a kid, it's like, when I'm an adult, then life is gonna be like this, and like nobody's life is like that. Like people's lives are changing all the time, and I think it's more apparent with us because we're like, we didn't stop changing physically, or like, you know what I mean, or externally, or, you know, whatever our different markers are, like, and like it can be that way with, you know, people who aren't trans, like they can also be going through like all of this as well, but for us it's like, I think we get really into ourselves on this idea of like before and after, and I'm guilty of that as well, and like I'm not the best at taking my own advice either, but it's like we can't change that, you know, So like, whatever that is, like, it's gonna make us feel some kind of way for sure. But like, whatever we do from now on, like, can do for others what others have done for us, you know, in those different instances, whatever they are. That felt like really vague, but I was just trying to like elaborate on what I was saying about how like y'all were taking inspiration from Ryan, and like I bet if Ryan heard this, and Ryan probably will, that like that's going to be back, like it's just this circle, like where we're just all just like fucking fueling each other, you know, just like giving each other like the thumbs up, you know, the kick in the pants, the whatever it is that we need that day, you know. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I actually just sent Ryan some shirts today.
Oh yeah,
I ran to the post office because I had a kind of funny interaction with him on Twitter like months ago, like probably 6 months ago at this point, where I was playing a gig and it was a really stacked lineup, and Ryan like commented like, "Yo, this is a sick lineup. I'm stoked for Milwaukee. I'm stoked for y'all." And I was like, "Hey, that was really nice of you. If I order a shirt right now, do you think you could ship it out in time for me to wear it on stage?" And he was like, "Probably not, but I can try." And I said, "I'll Venmo you an extra $5 and so I can pay for like priority mail or whatever." And then like not even 3 days later, I got 2 shirts in the mail. And so I said like, I owe you a shirt for sure. What size do you wear? And then it took me a long time to like print shirts that I felt super like confident with, and like felt comfortable like giving them to someone as a gift, like having my block printing abilities being like decent, and also like having enough shirts where like I can afford to send 2 off to Philadelphia and still have some for my homies in Milwaukee to actually buy at shows, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been on merch printing, like I printed like probably 40 shirts in the past couple of days, as well as like sewing some patches on one-offs and stuff. And I finally had some cool shirts, and I shipped them off this morning. So maybe even by the time Ryan hears this, he'll have some Riotnine gear.
Awesome.
Just pretty cool. I just like love the way that Screamo's ridiculously supportive in a cyclical way, and not just in a we support small artists kind of way, but in a way that like it's actually a circle of life, you know?
Yeah, it's super meaningful. It's not a 6-set, dude. You know, it's
right.
like we're really like we can really count on each other, and we make, like, you know, as a whole. I'm saying we, like, you know, but you know what I'm saying. It's like we're there for each other. We know what it's like, you know. So yeah, that's awesome. Where's my shirt? But no,
I'll send you, what size do you wear? I'll send you a shirt.
I'm just kidding. I should have. Here's the thing: is like somebody posted a snag shirt that they got at that show, and I was like, I should have got one of those shirts. I should have got a Riotnine shirt. But the thing is, like, I can't. I'm doing my best to not be a band shirt everyday girl, like, but like I still am, and I'm like, I don't.
That's why our shirts we try to do different shit. Like I have a lot of our shirts come from Goodwill, or like wherever else I can get shirts, and they're block printed, so it's not like a screen printed band t-shirt like everybody else's. And what's really nice, like I got a bulk of shirts for like $1.25 each at one point.
That's awesome.
And so I just like printed all of them and then put them in a bucket and said $5 shirt bucket. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then the other thing we do is this is a little bit more occasional because it's a lot more labor intensive, but I do one-offs. And so I'll buy a jacket from Goodwill that's like a cool jacket or like a flannel, and I'll sew patches on it because we also print a lot of patches. So like this one I did for my old roommate. He plays in an indie rock band here in Milwaukee called Diet Light. I bought this red, it wasn't Carhartt, but it was like a similar brand of like canvas work shirt. And it was like a little oversized, and I put a back patch on the back, and I put like the 3 flowers, Death Before Detransition flowers on one breast pocket, and then put the Riotnine logo sewed on the other breast pocket. And then Max decided to like crop it, so it was like a well-fitting shirt. And like, he loves that shirt so much he wore it in like a Diet Light music video. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make shit that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because like every band has golden t-shirts that have that, like maybe a small design on the front, big design on the back. You know, it's not that hard to like come up with something that's creative and unique and cost effective, and something that you can, like, if someone doesn't have the funds to spend a lot of money on merch, be able to get something for $1 or for free and not worry about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because like, I need to have the ability to give someone merch for free without having to have that impact my own financial stability, because I am a 21-year-old who lives paycheck to paycheck too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if I can have merch that's cheaper for me to make, it's easier for me to, in safe confidence, give that to someone else too for free.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That band I was talking about before, the band that I was in back in the 90s, we also did the random shirts from Goodwill thing, but it was sometimes it was kind of weird, because you're like, your band name's on the back of the shirt, and it's got like Tony the Tiger on the front. You're like, that's, you know, I don't think you're talking about that, but like, we had some weird shit like that. It's like, this is a Wendy's shirt. Like, why is our, I don't know. But yeah, it's,
the one I sent to Ryan has like the Puma logo on the front and then the Riotnine logo on the back, which I thought was kind of hilarious, because like, Sonagi's such like a sports band to me. Like, they're always like, they're wearing jerseys on stage, and like, they're big Birds fans. So like,
yeah,
I thought it was funny to have,
I
like,
just ran a marathon, you know? Yeah. Like,
yeah.
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 That does work. Oh no, and I mean, I don't know, you know, like one of my other bands, Plague Walker, we literally had the Adidas rip on one of ours. So, but yeah, I don't know. When it comes to me, like, I definitely I'm a huge proponent of that. Like, I want to make a lot of our records and stuff, like, it's like sometimes I'm worried when I send one out, like, if somebody's gonna complain because the screen print is like the registration is a little weird, or et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, one time I don't want to, I'm not gonna like single anybody out, but one time, like, I sent a bunch of them off, and this label that was a part of the release with us was like, these, like, the registration on these is weird, like, they don't all look the same. And I was like, yeah, that's not really like my thing, like, them like all looking the same and whatever. And I'm like, this album is called like The Mirror, and like, when we look in the mirror, like, we don't look the same, like,
right.
You know. And but they were like, well, I have to be able to sell this like it's a product. And I was like, see, that's where you got me. Like, it's not a product to me, it's a piece of artwork, you know. And yeah, I don't know, I mean, like I can see it from some people's point of view, like, it's like, this doesn't look like the one I ordered, you know. But to me, that's what it's like, well, that's why it's special, you know. But like, like, I'm not sending anybody anything that I would not be proud to own myself, and that's my like gold standard, is like, if I got this, would I be disappointed? And the answer has to be no, you know. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. As far as shirts and stuff though, like, I'm just guilty of the just like make the screen and run them on the guild, and you know, because like, honestly, like, it is so funny, like, the last like however many tours that we've been on, it's just like me and Jason recording an album, getting ready to go on tour, and it's like we're leaving at like 7 a.m. and we're still up printing shirts at like 1 a.m. It's like it just does not fail. It's like, well, you know, I've been getting ready for this thing for like 3 months now, but here I am the night before finishing running off these shirts. Like, it just does not fail.
That's how it is every time, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just, So I don't know. I'm always just like, it's always like, and maybe I'll make another design this time, and maybe I'll, and sometimes I do, but it's just always this like, I am always like, well, like, here we are, we're back in the assembly line. Boom, we're getting it done. But yeah, like, once again, I find myself like, like we're an hour deep into the conversation, and we could kind of just like keep going talking about like random stuff and art and everything like that. But like let's like kind of like wrap it up by like, talking about like what are the plans for your various bands like coming up? Like are there like shows for the bands? Like I know that the band that you just joined with Will and them has like an EP coming, but I don't like you obviously didn't play on that because you just got in the band. So like, what's the plans for all these different bands coming up?
Yeah, so with Solvalau, we're currently recording a demo, and I'm putting a couple guitar tracks down, like mostly like noise feedback type stuff, because the songs by and large are done. And it's a demo tape, so like the songs are like done, but with a little asterisk. And I think ZBR was going to potentially put out the demo, which is very exciting. Like
that's what it says
like,
on the
beyond cool that like I'd have the opportunity to put something out on ZBR ever. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, like I'm doing a couple guitar things here and there. I'm not really doing any vocals, I don't think, but they're offering me the spot to do so if I, feel comfortable and able to throw some vocals on. Yeah, with Riotnine, we're just kind of writing. We have a couple big shows brewing for the beginning of 2024. I'd really like to make it to Toronto in 2024. Like, what I really want to do for Riotnine is like hit the road. Like, I want to go to the East Coast. I want to go to the South. I want to eventually hit the West Coast when I have the means to like drive for 14 hours with no shows. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I really want to tour and get really fucking good at the songs we're playing and write new songs. We don't really have any plans for new releases. I'd really like to do potentially like a 7-inch, whether that be a split with another band or just a couple songs of our own. With no like real plans. It's all kind of just like, fuck it, we're going to work hard and find out what happens. Especially with Riotnine, like Danny and Ian are both at very, very busy seasons of their lives, being students and working class people. So I'm kind of bearing the brunt of like the what would
organizational side?
The organizational, administrative type booking type shit.
Yeah.
Temporarily, obviously, because all three of us are equal parts, but currently, like I'm the one with the time and energy to give. So like I don't have like a plan, but I do know that like I want to hit the road. I want to keep writing music, and I know that like the good ideas will come as they come. And like I'm not stressed. I just want to work hard and play music with my friends and see where it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we take off? Or I mean, I think that was a beautiful place to stop. But if there's anything else you wanted to say,
I don't know. To anybody listening, like support your community because that's the shit you can actually do. Like it doesn't help to think about the fact that the world is in a terrible place, but it does help to like love your neighbor. That's all.
And that was my conversation with Cleo Jackowick. Thank you so much, Cleo, for taking the time to chat with me. Thanks to all of y'all for listening. Don't forget to stop by patreon.com/humanmachine. Until next time, take care and do good things.